Well, I first met George when I was at the college in Manchester, and I was studying to be a watch and clock repairer. And at that point, I didn't think it was possible for one person to make a watch.
It requires concentration.
Anyway, George came along and he brought out this wonderful pocket watch, this Space Traveller. And on looking at this piece, you know, I just thought, what an incredible achievement. How on earth is it possible? Actually, my father, he bought me, for that Christmas, he bought me a copy of George's book, Watchmaking. And in it, it tells you how to make a pocket watch from start to finish.
I spent something like 12 to 16 hours every day in the workshop with new ideas and experiments. Because quite a lot of work goes into experimenting with an obscure subject like horology. But we got through it all, and it made a contribution, and the books I wrote are now accepted as definitive manuscripts, and I think they'll go on forever now. There's nothing else to write about them.
I finally realised, I mean, the book is written so well and it's so easy to understand, but I thought, well, if George could make a watch, then surely I could make a watch. I approached George and asked if he would apprentice me. Anyway, he invited me over to the island, told me that he wouldn't, but nevertheless encouraged me and said, well, if you want to make watches, go away and start working on your own. He said nobody taught him to do it, so you know, it is possible.
Roger is very precise. He's got endless patience, sort of an abnormal degree of patience. When he was at home and he qualified, he was working for this watch repair business in Bolton. In his spare time, he was making a watch. This one he was hoping to take along and see George Daniels.
I never made components for a watch before, but nevertheless I had George's book Watchmaking to help me.
He'd spend all day making a tiny little part, and then he'd come in the evening and say, "I've lost it." I'd say, "What do you mean you lost it? It's on the floor somewhere, I can't find it." I mean, most people would just go out of their minds, but what are you going to do? He said, "I have to make it again."
Also, I was learning 32 individual trades, which no watchmaker other than George Daniels and one or two others have ever learnt, ever achieved. But nevertheless, the watch did come together. I think the whole process took about 18 months. And it's a surprise when the watch ticked. And it really only did just tick.
2 years later, he goes back to George after having spent 3,500 hours making a watch.
It only just worked, really. It was a bit hit and miss. And I was nervous that it may stop while it was in George's hands. But anyway, he had a look at it, but he wasn't happy. You could just tell. I mean, I was hoping that his face would light up and say, well done. But well, he was honest.
I meet lots of young men who are inspired to propose that they're going to start a new form of horology which should eliminate all the old-fashioned bad ways, and our new system, and they produce. I've got pictures of watches here that you can't tell the time by. You can't see the hands on some of them.
He was a bit annoyed, really, that I'd gone over there and wasted his time showing him this watch which was no good.
But elegance is supreme, you know, it's got to be elegant. People won't buy it if it's not elegant, and if people are not buying, you're not being a success.
He sent me away with a bit of a flea in my ear and told me to make another watch.